Anybody tells you money's the root of all evil doesn't fucking have it. They say money can't buy happiness. Look at the fucking smile on my face.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're back at it from a new mindset, focusing on the process once again. So I ended up taking the trade. I said at the start of the day, this is kind of the only trade I'm watching. Price comes in this inverse and gives us an entry pattern. I'm gonna happily take a trade, and that's kind of what happened. We formed a low of an FVG, broke higher, took the high, then broke hard lower, closing beneath this bullish FVG and also below this low. So this is a valid entry for me. I place my entry right here. Main target is gonna be London lows. We do not have much resistance on prices where it's really balanced, so we should really be fine with this trade. I have a bit of a protective stop loss in case price wants to come again in this area. We give room for price to do that. We just had a one tap of our zone basically. I still think it's a good quality trade, like regardless of how I look at it, bro. We're chilling. We had a pretty good reaction of the 3-minute inverse. Yeah, this is good. My intuition came in so clutch. Jesus Christ, my intuition really came in clutch. The fact that I placed a wider stop loss came in clutch. We inversed this gap really nicely. We retested it. This should have been my initial entry, I think. Like, it still amazes me that what my intuition did and the fact that I had trust in this trade to let it run. We're floating a lot of profit right now, 3% almost. London lows, I'm gonna take a big portion of my position, yes, but I don't think I'm gonna fully close it. After we took this lows, we had a huge reaction higher, and that kind of scared me, but I was like, okay bro, most of the times when you see this impulse, a random impulse like this, is just to manipulate and retap a zone, and that's basically what happened. So I secured the 2%, that's good. Now I'm gonna go break even on the rest of the position. I think we're chilling. So let me show you if someone's interested. Again, we went kind of on a losing streak, so because I was kind of like figuring myself out, I had some really bad mindset in this period, and that has really affected my trading to the worst. Like, kind of everything that happened because I had a bad mindset. So right now we are 0-3. Bro, this is like such a flashback. Like, I think this is almost the same that it happened before. Instead of 0-3-2, we were 0-3-4. I did a good job in protecting my capital. I had a lot of trades here, so I had 1 2 3 4 5 6 trades. So 6 trades kinda covered one of my wins. I'm gonna turn profitable as soon as I remove the unnecessary losses, which was my focus recently. So I had this issue where mentally I was really negative, right? I was focusing on the negative. I was focusing on why I don't like trading. Being in a negative mindset really did affect my trading to the worst, and I had to reflect a lot on why am I so negative, why this happens. And I realized that this mindset actually is huge in terms of results and in terms of your trading, because a negative mindset is going to instantly affect your trading. Even if you don't realize it, you're going to take bad trades without even realizing it. You're going to make bad decisions without even realizing it. Instead of focusing on the single thing that I hate trading about, which is the inconsistency of the setups, I started focusing on why I love trading, which is improvement. If you're going to operate from a space of hate, automatically your trading is going to be affected to the worst. If you're going to operate from a space of love, and because you love trading and you like this shit, you're going to automatically turn your trading to the better. It's crazy the amount of psychology you're gonna have to learn as a trader, the amount of self-reflection you're gonna have to go through to learn why are those things happening. Because if I didn't self-reflect, I wouldn't realize that, okay, I'm really operating from a space of hate and this is affecting my trading. If I wouldn't have done that, I would have continued down this path of losing, and I would have actually lost the account most likely. I closed one of the partials at 0.5 and one that stopped out at break even. Good day, we made like 2.5% today. I did a good job. I maximized my profit. This is one of the trades that I would not do any management on them, most likely unless we have a really bearish reaction and there's a reason for me to close the trade. But a strict 2RR, either stop loss or TP. This is how I traded as a beginner, because not having trade management will really help with my emotions. We're gonna have a strict TP on really obvious liquidity because we also have that 4-hour FVG. We do not wanna target more than that. It is what it is, I guess. Price just 0 stop loss, that's fine. I don't think I generally did anything wrong in this trade. Thought about it and I realized that I shouldn't have been in the trade because we are lacking higher time frame POI. Yeah, apparently I need a higher time frame POI for my trading. I cannot trade like this. I need a higher time frame POI. Always at least 1 hour to 4 hour. I need a POI and FVG or something, right? Because that will allow me to position myself in the best probability scenarios. For now it looks like it's gonna reject, but as I said, the chance of us disrespecting such a good FVG and such a good breaker block and then coming into that 1 minute inverse and then reacting higher is so fucking small, like 10 to 20% that it shouldn't have happened. But this is just trading. Sometimes the unexpected happens, and even if it goes right now, I don't think it's a good choice for me to re-enter the trade. So it is what it is, I guess. So I thought about moving my stop loss slightly lower, but I didn't. Like, regardless of the result of the trade, as long as I learn something from the day, I learned something valuable, the result doesn't fucking matter, because this profit doesn't fucking matter. That's what I learned. This profit doesn't fucking matter because one day I'm gonna make it back 3 to 4 times. So even in New York this day, there is a really high chance I'm gonna make all the profit back. So why would I be worried, right? This is my checklist for my trading. So higher time frame, intraday profile, and my entry pattern. So we had everything here. We had higher time frame, but on higher time frame I usually have POI, bias, and drawn liquidity. Our higher time frame usually has steps. We had bias, which in my case was bullish because we had really obvious sell side drawn liquidity here. Intraday profile, raid Asia, entry pattern, valid inversion, valid gap, so valid everything. But we were lacking one really small thing, which was the higher time frame POI. I realized today that I need to have every single step out of these for me to position myself in the best trading scenarios and for me to actually win. So yeah, even though I know this, I had to convince myself of it. The thing that I learned this today, it was the last piece to the puzzle of my edge, of me being consistently profitable. The fact of me learning this will make me way more fucking money, which is gonna make me 100% rather than 1%. So I wanted to go over this trade. It's a bit complicated because I do go really in depth with my trading journals. My focus is on improving always. So besides the fact that we didn't have a higher time frame POI, I want to go over what mistakes did I make. Me placing my stop loss on this rejection block wasn't a bad idea. What I did bad is the fact that I didn't adapt, right? Because at one point my intuition told me to move my stop loss below this 1 minute inverse where price initially started the entry pattern. Here was my initial stop loss, and this is where my intuition told me to move my stop loss because this is a zone. So if price would disrespect this, it would mean that yeah, the idea really doesn't stand. There's still a small chance that price respects that stop loss. So what I did wrong is I was scared of too much exposure, and I did a financial decision of not placing my stop loss a bit wider to give the trade enough room to play out. So that was my mistake. I didn't listen to my intuition, and I didn't move my stop loss where my intuition would scream at me to do, right? That was my first mistake. I should have been in the trade in the first place because it lacked a higher time frame POI. But for future scenarios where trade play out like this, the rare cases you need to improve, adapt, widen stop loss, listen to intuition. Don't be scared of too much exposure. Intuition is there to help you make trading based decision, not equity based decision. It's a very similar trade to the one that we had yesterday, where listening to my intuition, it turned the trade from a loss to a win, where price was really close to my stop loss. Like here yesterday, I listened to my intuition, I widened my stop loss regardless of the exposure I had in the trade. But here today I didn't. I was too scared. If I did that, I would have still been in the trade and the trade would have played out perfectly. This is a really rare case when price, we had a really good FVG here and a really good breaker block. So it's a really rare case where price disrespects those PD arrays and comes deeper and respects a really shitty 1 minute FVG. But now I did take another entry on USD GPR and I'm gonna explain why. This is a nice model I have right here. It's a delay trending model where we look to continue Asia's trend while price manipulates London's high. So we see that price rated previous daily high here, tapped this consolidation and started breaking lower, right? We have an inducement level here that was generated, this liquidity. We have a 1 hour POI here, deeper into discount. What we see happen before that is price inverted this broke structure below this textbook market structure shift. We took that liquidity, we broke below the low, we broke below this bullish FVG, and then we took our entry on this 5-minute FVG right here. This is going to be our main take profit. Is going to be this sell side right here. We do not have really good R, but that's completely fine. Maybe I should actually move my entry on this inverse for better R. So overall, I like this trade. It's a textbook setup. We have higher time frame. We have a 1 hour POI, which is valid. We have a valid entry pattern. We have everything we need for us to be in this trade, right? We have everything we need. We have solid draw on liquidity. We're going to wait and see if price gives us necessary confluence. Overall, I like that this move is slow, so we should be fine still. Entry was taken slightly before New York open, but I don't think it's going to be a reason of concern. Overall, this entry is clean. Again, same as yesterday, very similar price action to yesterday. London's really balanced, really retractive, really has no realistic reason of not reacting lower off here. If it doesn't, it is what it is. It's just trading, right? I think I'm gonna market execute. My scaling was eager. Yeah, my scaling was kind of bad. My scaling was eager. I scaled in too fast. Like, I should have waited for a bit more confirmation, but I am kind of emotional after the trade that happened today. I'm not gonna lie. My entry is good, my initial entry is good, but my scaling was a bit bad, so we just took like a 0.5 unnecessary loss. Now if price starts breaking below this FVG, this would be a good confirmation for me to scale in. This should have been my initial scaling, and I'm gonna scale in with a 0.5 here, 3R towards our main liquidity level, which are these lows. This would allow me to cover my loss on GU and the loss on the partial that we took that was unnecessary. So now it's looking like it's living, so that's good. We're placing our entry a bit lower. Yeah, finally left. Yeah, we just have deeper pullbacks because we have a low probability. Price ended up continuing lower pretty nicely. We did have a rebalance here. My scaling was here and price rebalanced here, even though I did know that price is gonna more likely to rebalance this low. I couldn't take this because it just like it's too bad R for me. So now we're just waiting for price to reach its final liquidity. Trade still stands. Heavily think price is gonna go towards the low. Trade still stands. I'm actually down to let the trade run because my intuition when I look at this chart, seeing this triple top form here, this formation just signals that we're heavily gonna go lower, not only towards this liquidity here, but towards the lows and towards final take profit. So that's why it rejected really heavily of that previous supply, of that previous mitigation we had. So even though we can consider essentially scaling in this instead, because price is kind of giving us signs. We do have a really nice gap forming right now. We did inverse that 5-minute once again. Want to see how we close. If we close below this at this point, I'm definitely gonna delete my scaling because I do not think it will reach it. And the take profit I'm looking at is gonna be range low at least, and final take profit is gonna be here. I would have preferred to have scalings on the trade, but sadly I managed my scaling really badly. Let me actually activate my web. What? Why is it so small? What's funny? I don't know, bro. Oh, why? I don't know what happened. So I know traders, when they see like they're in winning trades, they like get all happy and shit, like they blast music, and I do not really have time to like be like, oh yeah, winning trade, let's go. Like, bro, I just need to be focused on making the best decision, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm doing right now, like being focused on what the market's presenting. And after the trade is finished, like after the trade hits either stop loss or take profit, then you can either celebrate or be depressed, you know what I mean? We are obviously break even at this point, even though I didn't move my stop loss. This is gonna be either like 3R, like 3%, or it's gonna be like 2%. Like it's already a win. Like regardless of what I do, it's already a win. So there's no way I've been in this trade and I had the right bias and I did all of those things right and take a loss on this trade. There's no way that's happening, right? Now this is when the most emotions are gonna run through your brain, bro. Like this is when most of the emotions are going, oh my god, I close. What is happening? What if price reverses right now? What if price doesn't reverse? What, you know, all those types of emotions are gonna run through your brain. But here I'm just training myself to ignore all of those emotions and stick to my final analysis, which is definitely reaching into that low, and it will reach into that low. You're human, bro, and there is gonna be so many emotions fighting you. You gotta train yourself to ignore all of those emotions, because even of myself, I'm an experienced trader. There's emotions fighting in my head right now, in my heart, to close the trade. But what am I doing? I'm just ignoring them. I'm sticking to my analysis. I said one thing, I'm gonna do it is the same as this is discipline. This is what you have to do as a trader. And right now you're gonna see that my take profit is gonna get hit. And I would have just take 0.5 off the table because of what? Because of my emotions. Like really, bro, am I a pussy or what? Like master yourself, master your emotions, master your decisions, and you're gonna be a wonderful trader, bro. Would you look at that, bro? Oh my god, what a banger fucking trade, bro. Let's go, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It feels good, I cannot lie. And I'm gonna keep fucking winning. And you're gonna be here to see that shit. Interesting enough, we can play the same idea we had from London, but London ended up really consolidating but still holding that 5-minute FVG we talked about. And we're just looking to target that buy sell liquidity. Basically it's a failed swing scenario where we have a rebalance, we have a bearish range, we rebalance, but we fail to break lower, and from there we break higher, going towards the high. So it is a valid setup. We have a valid entry, we have valid everything, valid higher time frame, which came in this 1 hour and swept this low. So we are valid overall. Now I'm just letting it run, even though we got a market execution that's completely fine. We should easily continue higher until this high, at least, the very least. Do have a slight danger zone here, but I still think drone liquidity will be stronger. Now we should probably hold this FVG towards higher prices. I didn't even have time to think. Like as soon as I hopped on the charts, I opened trading view and I come on GU, I see this inverse, I'm like, okay, I'm taking this shit. Like my intuition like that, I don't have time to hesitate, I'm just taking this shit. Having a reaction, but again, I don't think it's necessarily concerning though. There was a potential of this happening, but I don't think it invalidates the trade. Like even if you look here, look where 0507 is. It's exactly kind of around this inverse. So we know it has a high chance of winning our trade. So when it doesn't invalidate our trade, we do not have really strong like invalidations. Yeah, we did in kind of inverse. So now if price manages to come and break above this, that would be perfect confluence for us to still hold the trade. But if it respects it, it might go lower. But right now we're looking like we're going to be a bit bullish and continue our trade idea. Come on, GU, you can do it, bro. GU, you can do that shit. Fuck, bro, this is so annoying, bro. This shit is reversing. I had to close. Bro, no, bro. I closed way too early. Like, yeah, you just gotta improve. Like, even now, even though I missed on a winning trade, like next time when this scenario will happen, I will know not to close on the 1 minute FVG. So next time I'm gonna win this trade. Like, good morning, everyone. I'm kind of sad about the decision I made yesterday when closing the trade, but yeah, this was a really clean trade that I caught but I closed around this highs because yeah, I closed too early. I didn't have my exit protocol present. I didn't have my rules present, so I technically break a rule, but I'm still getting used to using that exit protocol. What I should have done here is wait for the 3-minute gap to form before closing. I knew this area is really dangerous because here we had a 1 hour AVG and we had stacked buy side liquidity. We had London highs and kind of New York highs here. So I was expecting if price comes here and does not close strongly above the high, and if price rejects off it, I was expecting price to retrace and come towards break-even orders, and that's what I saw on the 1 minute. I saw gap, saw price rejecting really hard of the high, and then we started forming a bearish gap, and here around this 1 minute FVG I closed, but my exit protocol tell me that I need to see a 3-minute gap form, and if you see that on the 3-minute we didn't have a gap, so I shouldn't have closed the trade. On the 1 minute there's a gap present, and on the 3-minute it isn't. That kind of signals that the move lower is a retracement, and that's exactly what happened. So I should have been a bit more cautious. I didn't focus as I should, and I didn't stick to my rules, which basically mean that I should have a 3-minute gap before considering to close, and here we didn't have that 3-minute gap, and I closed exactly before price displaced extremely hard in my TP. Yeah, it hurts, but it is what it is. Like, we had really good trading week. I was talking to my friend that this week is actually extremely good in terms of economical calendar. This is probably the best week you want to trade in, like the best week in terms of opportunities, because we have the perfect amount of news to provide volatility for good moves in the market. We do not have major moves like CPI, we do not have major moves like FOMC or all that shit that's gonna really affect the market. We have the perfect amount of volatility for a good trading week. So this is how a really good trading week looks like in terms of news, right? We had a 2-hour, we had a 3-hour, so we made 5%, right? And on GU we had this trade that I should have got a loss on. Let's just imagine that I would have won this. So 7-hour and a 3-hour, 10-hour, like it would have been a 10-hour week in 3 trading days. So that's just crazy, like the potential what it is in the market. And now I'm getting more and more confluence that this is how profitable trading really looks like for me, because this is a very similar week to the one that we had when we had those really nice trades. So this week actually was very similar to that when we had 4 wins in a week. So it looks really good. I'm liking this because I'm seeing more and more confluence. This is the second week that I see that something like this happen. So this I'm getting kind of signs that this is how profitability will look like for me. Like the fact that I lost on this, yeah, it's a matter of improvement, and the fact that I close on this is again a matter of improvement. So next time when this is gonna happen, I'm gonna guarantee you that I'm gonna win all of them. Absolutely fucking insane to think about it, that a 10 RR I actually was in a 10 RR week, and I actually caught the trades. And if this is what profitability will look like for me, bro, I'm gonna make hella fucking bends. My current understanding of the market overlaps and exceeds the understanding of traders that are already millionaires, like FXLXG, like Lambo Raul. All of these traders, they make a lot of money, but there's a key difference between me and them. They've mastered their strategy. I mastered the market. That's my focus. I'm not bound by a strategy. What they've done is they've traded one strategy and they stopped improving. They only look at the market through the lens of their strategy. They do not look at the market, and they do not understand what the market actually does. They understand their edge when it's present. I am focused, and I will always be focused on mastering the markets. I am already a way better trader than them, even though my results don't reflect that yet, but it will. I'm gonna be one of the best traders of all time because this is exactly why, because I'm focused on mastering the markets. You will not see traders talk about trading how I do. They will not see the details. They will not. I understand almost every single move that the market makes. There are some times that the market makes a move with no sense, but that's really rare. I understand the algorithm. I understand how market prints based on so many factors, based on session, based on volatility, based on liquidity, based on POIs, based on trend, based on all of those things. I understand deeply the market itself. That's why I'm gonna be one of the best traders of all time, and that's why I'm gonna make so much fucking money that I will not know what to do with so much money. That's gonna be a result of my level of skill. I am 2.5 years in trading, but 2.5 years, that's not a lot of time. 2.5 years, and I already overlap traders that have been trading for 5 to 10 years. Already in 2.5 years, when I'm gonna be at year 10 in trading, bro, I will know the market like how I know myself. In every video of mine, I talk about how I see the markets. That's why you get so much value, because there's already so many things that I know about the markets and proven themselves to be right. I learn continuously. I never stop learning. Because even look at this routine I have, right? I have a routine. Besides the fact that I have an analysis, which is preparing for the market, I have a post-market, like a post-market analysis where I go over what actually happened. Was I right? Was I wrong? Was there a setup? Or all of those things. And this allows me to continuously evolve mentally, get a deeper understanding of the market, to the point where now I have 7 models that I see consistently work, because I've already just put the work in and try and understand why does the market do that, why does the market do that. Even if it's outside my edge, it doesn't matter. When you trade with one strict strategy and you only trade that, you're not gonna see the market to its full potential. You're only gonna look for your edge. 7 profitable scenarios that I see happen over and over again, and I don't say I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna find more and more models. This is like not necessary for you to be profitable. That I know, I do not look at what's necessary to make money. I can trade this strategy only and make money, but that does not matter for me. My focus is not making money in the markets. My focus is becoming the best trader I can ever be, and that's not gonna be done through trading one strategy only. 10% in a week, bro, and this is not my final level. This is not never gonna be like my peak. I'm never gonna have a prime. I'm continuously gonna improve. People, traders, bro, profitable traders look to make 2% a month and they're done. Like they make a 2% per month, they done. Like it's enough for me. But why stop there, bro? Why are you a pussy, bro? Why are you afraid of losing? Why do you want to stop at 2%? I make 2% in one trade. Why would I stop there? Why would I stop? Like, this is why I don't understand. Like, people are pussies, bro. Let's say I just take this trade and then be done for the month and wait for the month to be over when I can catch 1 more, 2 more, 3 more. But why would I leave money on the table, bro? Why would I be scared of losing money? If I am capable of making more than that, why would I stop? If, for example, you need to pay your bills this month and your 1% is gonna cover the bills, yeah, sure, do that. Yeah, when I take my first payout, of course I'm gonna play it safe because it's the first money I take from the markets. And I'm not gonna do one trade because that's still pussy shit for me. I'm gonna make like 5% and okay, take the money. Then that's what's gonna happen. That's gonna be my first payout, and it's now on the record, and you're gonna see that's gonna happen because I know in my mind, I see it already. It's gonna happen. I dictate reality. I say reality. I see the future. 5%, that's gonna be my payout this spring, either March or either April. Now, I know it's gonna happen. So I ended up taking a position on USD JPY today. The main idea is to play this really good 4-hour FVG. We are bearish overall. We have a really good 4-hour FVG and we have an inducement level right before that. The thing is, we gotta be careful at this 4-hour bullish one right here because it's gonna be slightly dangerous because price can still just react from here and continue off higher. So we gotta pay attention to how price behaves around this area. Overall trend is still bearish in my eyes. Drone liquidity was this high. Now drone liquidity will switch towards an internal liquidity or external liquidity because we are bearish overall. So that's kind of my idea. But we had the classic New York reversal profile where Asia and London retraced within the higher time frame range overall, and then we sweep that London high and react lower. What I liked about this is how we actually formed this market structure shift. Like, we had this really triple top here and we broke this bullish FVG. So for me, this actually looks like a pretty good entry. Stop loss at the highs. Main target in this model is usually Asian lows. It's not looking good right now, but we just gotta trust. Like, the thing is why this trade is slightly risky is because we are against lower time frame channel. The 50-minute just looks really bad here. The rejection we got. So we took like a 0.5 loss. This is not really a trade worth taking. What would be a good opportunity here is to wait for 50-minute to switch bearish, like break the lows, and then wait for a market structure shift because you're aligning the lower time frame with your entry pattern. But here, lower time frame is bullish, so Asia and London didn't retrace. They were continuing overall bullish trend, which was lower time frame bullish trend. We had 1 range here, 2 range here, 3 range here. Like, the last range is this. So for the 50-minute, which is basically this, to align with the higher time frame, it has to break lower, giving us an entry pattern and then looking to trade. I was backtesting and I just want you to take a look at this trade in the same day. A 3R and a 3.9R. Here we had an analysis, right? This is where price action was on the higher time frame. So higher time frame, we're consolidating. This is how you should trade range setups, right? We were consolidating, so here it was a matter of this sell side here. Considering that we rejected so much of the sellers around the highs here, I was expecting price, regardless of what's gonna happen, to come towards the sell side because it just was too obvious. So looking at what I said, high time frame, we formed a bearish gap, which is this one. We have to pay a bit of attention to how price behaves because it easily can go lower. It's basically fighting the sellers that were at the top of the range. So depending on how price behaves, we can take trades towards that drawn liquidity, which means sells, or take trades from that drawn liquidity, which means buys. We actually, funny enough, we took both. That price from this Asia consolidation. If price would have came out here, I would have expected price to go towards those equal lows. In London, since we swept the highs, I was looking to take shorts, and look what happened. We mitigated that rejection block perfectly. Then we inversed the gap. Here's where I took my entry, 2.8 R. But then when price ended up coming towards the lows, I was expecting some buys because that's what my bias was. Then look what we built towards the upside. So we built more confluence that we're gonna go high, and then we got an inverse. Like this would have been my entry, but I hesitated. For some reason I hesitated and I waited for some more confirmation, and I placed my entry here, but we ended up getting missed out. When I see this clean of a price action, like I don't know, it's just way too clean, and I love the shit. So we start reacting pretty heavily. We've inversed this gap right here, and now what I want to see is price inverse this, because this is a really important area. If it doesn't inverse this, all this move doesn't really mean much. Either this or either we come back above and this inverse and give us an entry pattern. We need more confluence definitely here. Waiting for this next candle, and we're gonna execute our order. Coming into these two gaps here, we want to see how we behave. We should come towards this bullish gap here regardless. So if we come and respect it on the lower time frames, on the 5 minute, on the 1 minute, I'm gonna close the position. Otherwise, if we break strongly below it, scale in. This is a really pivotal area, so depending on how we behave to it, I'm gonna manage my trade. If basically kind of wicked that FVG here, but overall the bodies, as you can see, close within the order block, so that's a good sign. These are really good signs. The way we rejected buyers here is a really good sign. I want to see a strong closure below London lows. Basically, that's kind of what's gonna guarantee me that we're gonna go lower. Rejecting a bit, but nothing concerning as of right now. 1 minute is slow, 1 minute is retractive. This is retractive movement. Like this just looks textbook to me, so I'm gonna take it. Market structure shift, inducement level, FVG, 1 hour POI. It just looks good. Like it's most definitely gonna continue towards those highs. The thing is, euro, I don't know why I didn't trust it. I look at the profits. Maybe it's a bad decision that I closed. Euro is eating our profits because of the lot size, and I didn't really like that. I'm willing to scale in again on GJ because we're inversing that really well. Let's see how we close first. Euro is still working. Yeah, I should have held. I made an emotional decision. I made a financial based decision by looking at the profits. It's okay. Our scaling was absolutely fucking crazy. And now we should have an easy, really easy way reaching towards that. I ended up closing on this low. I just can't mentally hold it anymore, bro. We are 4.4% on the account. I still made pretty decent money on this trade. We made like, these were 2 small losses that I took. One on euro. I'm curious if euro ended up playing out. Yes, euro did end up playing out. So we would have made another 2% today if I didn't close like a fucking idiot. Overall, we made like 2.75. Taking out this loss, we made like 2 point something, so it's still good. My psychology is kind of enough to be profitable, but it's still affecting my trading to the worst. The past month there's been at least 3 winning trades that I closed on, and it's essentially taking profit from the table. I get really emotional when price is around my final take profit. When it's really close to my final take profit, I get really emotional. The other issue is I close on winning trades a lot of times because I'm scared of exposure. I haven't fully accepted the fact that this trade can lose, and when I see price going to drawdown, I get too focused. Oh my god, it's gonna lose, I don't want to lose, and I close the trade. Been going over the issues and the things that can be improved, and I was talking with GBT as well. So in cases where you have only one objective to target, these are the moves you can make. So force TP, make your take profit a bit bigger than the liquidity level that we have, which is this. So second is putting your entry higher so you get minimal RR, which for me is 2 on that objective level. Third one is sacrificing a bit of stop loss room. Put your TP a bit longer than the objective. When you have another reason to target more, you should place your entry a bit higher than initially when you have another POI dip in your entry. In this case today we also had that. So I kind of made the worst decision today. I decided to make my TP bigger, even though it worked. It's either entry higher or stop loss smaller would have been the better decision. I went over the technicals, take profit and scaling, and psychology, because I have that issue when I'm reaching 1k in profit, I start getting emotional. Why? Because 1k in profit has been my fixed take profit for about 2 years. So it's a habit for me, and leaving price run more than 1k, it's really uncomfortable for me, and many times I end up closing early just because of that. The way to solve that is just a matter of habit. Option 1 is fighting the emotions, building a habit of not caring about profit being 1k. Second is going to be hide the profit numbers so you don't get that emotional. If you don't see the profit, you will not get emotional. Third option is taking partial. Usually, yes, a good choice, gives comfort mentally, and also a good choice technically. So the hardest one to do is fighting the emotion, but this is the most useful one because it's going to help me in the long term. Ended up taking a trade on DAX. I can say like it's a really good trade. That's why I went lower risk. It's basically just a London continuation towards the highs. We should overall continue. My POI and my bias higher time frame is bullish. We had this 1 hour inverse as a POI, and we had London as a continuation pattern. We're looking to draw towards London highs because we already rebalanced. It's just a continuation trade, and we waited for price to sweep this lows, tap into that 1 hour inverse we have, and from here we took our entry on this 5-minute gap. We had a pretty important high here that I waited for price to break before taking my entry, and from now on we're just looking to target mainly London high, and second of all we're looking to target that range high. It's low risk because yeah, it's not like a very high quality trade because we still have that 4-hour POI, so price might reach into that before going higher. Lower time frame, I don't think we need to draw lower. Looking at London's range, we don't really have a reason to draw lower. Yeah, I'm actually down to scale in another like small portion, 0.3 around this. The scaling done on the 5-minute, remember, that's why. And what I said happened. I wanted to see price break this high. Now our entry is around that breaker. We're just gonna respect bullish for the flow towards at least this high, and scaling I'm gonna let run towards that, especially when going on a lower risk trade. Go with a small amount like a 0.5, which I did here, and when you get more confluence, that's when you can scale in a bit more because you're getting more confirmation that the trade is going to hold into your favor, and that's when the probabilities of your trade working gets higher, so then you can actually scale in. And in my opinion, the entry pattern doesn't make sense anyways. Like if you have a POI or something like that, yeah, it does make sense. Close both of the positions. Well, we're gonna see. Basically, I just did this to kind of get some practice in. Kind of my only reason for being in this trade. Otherwise, I wouldn't really be in it. But I wanted to get some practice in with my exit protocol. We did get a 3-minute gap here with a 1 minute bearish entry pattern. Maybe I closed too early again. This was a fully valid exit protocol. Again, as I said, the only thing is not good about it is the relevance, right? Because I was talking with GBT and I made kind of plan for myself, and exit pro weak opposing setup. This is a weak opposing setup. No action, whole trade. So this should have technically been a no action because the bearish entry doesn't make sense, right? It's weak. It doesn't have, if it would have taken the highs, that would be a medium quality to towards strong quality opposing setup. That would be a good close, but here, not really. I did close too early because of relevance, but now I know for next time. But yeah, I learned something. That was my purpose for today. I don't really care for 0.3%. It's irrelevant. Of course, this happens as soon as I close the trade. I'd closed on a exit protocol that has a weak opposing setup that should have had no action, no, and hold the trade. But what matters is I still respected my my exit protocol. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of get used to respecting my exit protocol. That's why I did this today. It is what it is, right? You learn through mistakes. I have to go through this for me to be able to learn, for me to be able to tell the difference between a weak opposing setup, medium quality opposing setup, and a strong opposing setup. Each of those exit protocols has different actions. The weak opposing setup, which should have been today, has no action and hold the trade, which I should have done. I shouldn't have closed the trade. Medium quality would have kind of been if we take the high and we see that, and a strong opposing setup would have been with some danger zone, right? If we would have made like a 2% on final TP, is irrelevant to me. I don't know what this random volatility spike is. I know what it is. It's the end of lunchtime, basically. Yes, I should have held through lunchtime. So again, some small mistakes. Even the low quality trade I touch goes like this. I need to stop doing this shit, bro. I'm self-sabotaging so much. Like, it's embarrassing how many winning trades I actually closed until now. Look at my last 3 trades, bro. So this should have been a full win. This should have been a full win. So I would have been almost 100% fucking win rate, bro. This should have been a full win. Bro, imagine this shit. This win. This all should have been wins. That's fucking crazy, bro. 100% win rate. Like, it would have been crazy, but yeah, I self-sabotaged a lot. Because at the end of the day, I still catch good trades. It's such a simple mistake. It's like, it feels like when I was in school and I was in math, I would solve the most complicated fucking problems and exercises, and I would mess out at the most simple fucking ones. I have such a good eye on my trades, and I enter such good trades, and I do stupid shit like this, like close winning trades for no reason. Like, I don't even know if I should have an exit protocol. It's not a lucky streak, it's just the level I've reached. The only thing I'm doing is I'm closing too early. Instead of making 20% in 2 weeks, I made 8. Because I'm just self-sabotaging with this closing too early thing. I'm not letting myself get frustrated over this because it's such a stupid mistake. Of course, the DAX trade ended up hitting TP. I ended up placing a trade today. I didn't really expect doing that because I didn't really see a lot of opportunities, just euro basically today. So let's talk about the higher time frame first of all. From the higher time frame, what we see is that we are still bullish overall, but in this case, we had 2 gaps, right? We had this right here and this right here. So question is, which one is going to react off of? Here on the first bullish gap, we see we had the bullish candle form, but then it got rejected. So for me, this was an indication we're going to go at least for this low, which means also this gap. So I was essentially expecting price to draw lower towards this or potential this lows if we turn bearish. We drew towards this 4 hour and then started reacting higher, which now signals that we're most likely going to reach towards range highs, right? This was just a rejection of buyers on the first FVG. Now price reached, took that low and came for the second FVG. So now we're reacting, which means we're most likely going to go higher. Yeah, on the 1 hour, we see we had a trending Asia of this 1 hour FVG right here. Came a bit lower, but one really important thing happened here is we inversed, right? And this is a huge sign for bullish scenarios. This gap should have held price lower if we were to continue, but as soon as we tap in that 4 hour FVG, we had a massive reaction higher, inversing this 1 hour. This is the area we're looking to take our trade. It's still slightly risky because price can still react of this. So when we look on the lower time frames, what happened is that we drew lower, like pretty slowly, then we broke structure. Again, that 1 hour inverse is a 5-minute inverse as well, and this is where we're looking to take our entry. Stop loss at the low, main target is going to be the range highs here. This is usually what happens anyways. When we have news, we take the low and then we go for the high. We usually manipulate both sides of the news, especially since it's a Monday. Here on DXY, we're most likely going to draw towards this high and then potentially draw lower. Thing is, it's not such a quality trade, that's why I kind of hesitated at first, but I think we're fine. I gotta go low risk and I gotta move it higher because at this point it's more like a swing. As soon as I close the recording morning, price did this, like it had this random huge displacement lower, which actually was a manipulation to fill this huge gap. We didn't have any news. It was just a random drop to manipulate, I think. So generally, we gotta see what happens here, because as I said before, this is a pretty dangerous rejection block here. It's formed above liquidity, and we see we mitigated that, and now we are starting to reject higher. So there is still a kind of chance that we're gonna go lower of that rejection block here that we just mitigated, because this is a very dangerous zone, right? 3 minute we see is really slow, so for now we don't really have any signs. As in 1 minute as well, only 5 minute has a gap here. What is nice in days like this, because this is when you actually see how the volatility is getting printed based on sessions. Here when you don't have news. You're looking like we're reversing, so I'm probably gonna close this. Like this rejection shouldn't have happened. Like now this is a pretty huge sign that we're gonna go lower. I might be wrong, but this is what my intuition tells me. Maybe I closed too early again. I don't think it's a trade I should make money on or lose money on. I think it's a trade I shouldn't be in the first place. This trade would have hit TP actually. But you know why it was a low probability trade? Because it took over 1 day to print. This is a really big filter. On a high quality trade takes 2.5 hours for me to win, and a low probability trade takes 21 hours. I don't want to be open to low probability trades. I want to look to trade those high quality ones. Like there's no denying in the fact that this was a lower quality trade. The question is, should have I trusted it and let it run? Because of me knowing that it's a lower quality trade, that's why I risked 0.5, right? If I did this, let it run. Like there's a couple of questions that I need to ask myself, right? Should have I trusted this trade regardless? Like if I would have let the stop loss here, it would have ended up hitting. Are those 0.5% trades, which is low probability trades, worth being in, or should I only trade the high quality ones, which is between 1 and 1.5%? Because recently what I've been doing recently is choosing only this, right? And choosing only this and avoiding these trades. But you can see that recently we had 2 low probability trades that I would have made money on. Should you trade yellow setups? If your goal is to profitable as soon as possible, no. Prioritizing green and purple trades help you build consistency and confidence. Yellow trades might work here and there, but they require much more effort to analyze long term, and they now may not be worth the capital. If your goal is data collection, maybe, but in a separate way. You could paper trade or backtest, obviously. This way you don't let them interfere with your current profitability goal. Your system is already filtering for high quality trades. The fact that we created it was for a reason, to cut out the noise and trade the best setup. You know, yellow trades take longer, are riskier, and have lower win rate. So why you should go back and trade something you already know is weaker? True. Stick to green and purple. For now, you need to cross that profitable line first. Of course, once you're profitable, you can afford to test yellow trades. Completely right. Don't let short-term wins fool you. This is what I've been saying also yesterday. Even though these setups look like in the short term they work like the past 2 trades, I know that in the long term they have a low probability of winning. So just because the last 2 yellow trades won doesn't mean they're good in the long term. You already told yourself that this trade failed more often than not. The market will always trick you with short-term randomness, so don't let that shake your bigger plan. Final answer. Right now, ignore yellow trades and focus on green and purple. Your current priority is profitability, and yellow trades don't help that. If you want to test them, test the one on the side, but don't let them interfere with your main strategy. Yellows it's under 40%, so it's barely profitable. Yellow trades are massively inefficient. Today we actually had a really clean trade on gold, so I'm gonna go over from the higher time frames. Actually, I did take it on the demo, I didn't take it on the live, and I'm gonna go over that soon. So on the higher time frame, we had a really good sign. We had the sell side swept, we had an inversion form here, which this was like a market structure shift. As soon as we got this inversion, we were signaling that we're going for this buy side stack here. We're going for the top of the range. We had a really good 4-hour FVG here overlapping with this breaker block, so this became our point of interest. Bias is higher, Tron liquidity is this high right here. I think that I like to see for my POIs is that we overlap, so we have POIs present on all time frames. On the 4 hour we had an FVG, on the 1 hour we also have an FVG, and even on the 15 minute we also have an FVG around this area. So this is what you want to see for your POIs. For Asia and London, we just consolidated because we had CPI today, and we see that CPI basically did nothing. Like for CPI, this is a really small move. Then we swept the low, we tapped the FVG, we took that liquidity, and then what we had here, an inverse. And this is where I took my entry. I took one on the demo. I'm going to show you the executions. So we can see the executions right here. I actually took this on the demo like this. I had a stop loss below here and the take profit here at a 2R. Why did I not take this on the funded account? Because it was CPI day. I never traded CPI. So for me, it's still not, I'm not confident in trading on my funded yet on CPI days. Came with the mindset of, okay, I'm not going to trade this week until Thursday and Friday. I don't want to trade in the CPI day because like I do not have the experience yet, and it's not something you generally want to do. And another reason why I hesitated was the fact that we got really bad R. So generally my stop loss would have been here, and the 1.2 R is really bad. But look at this. If we would have put our take profit out around that liquidity level, which was those range highs here, which we knew were getting targeted because of higher time frames, look at the R we would have gotten, 2R. So this would have been a really valid trade. Just that, and now I'm gonna get to backtesting and keep improving and improving. So I just wanted to go over this. If some of you made it to the end of the video, I wanted you to know where we stand with the account. Hopefully finally getting out of break even with this week and the next week and the next videos. Stay hard, stay motivated, and never stop growing.